All right, welcome to the Podium Live, Vincent Purvis. I'm here with the new head coach of the Reus Imperials, Tim Bishop. What's going on, Tim?
How you doing?
Good,
I'm
man.
well.
Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about last season and going into this next season. Last year, you were with the IK Crotone in Italy.
Yes.
Could you talk to us a little bit about what happened down there, like how the team fared the season, what you saw that was good, what things could have been improved on, things like that. Just tell us a little bit about your season in Italy.
Sure. Last year, I took over a program that, won maybe like two games per year for the last couple of years. They hadn't been to the playoffs in about 4 years. So, we had a young team. I would say most of our players were 21 or younger, so we had a lot of young players and, it was a lot of development going on in that process. It was just a lot of technically sound fundamental drills going on and just trying to develop those young guys. And, fortunately we won. We went 4-2. We made the playoffs. We had a successful season, but, we lost in the first round. But I mean, there was a lot of growth going on for me as a coach too. I had to learn, not just learning how to coach guys that don't speak my own language, but like how to teach them, and how to get the most out of those guys. And it's tough because they have families, they have jobs. You got to work around that. We had 35 players on the team, and sometimes 17 guys would show up to practice. And I know that's a thing that goes on in Europe, everybody, but you just got to adapt to what's going on every day. Every day is a fluid situation. So you just got to be able to, solve problems and, that day.
Oh, that's the thing in Europe, playing American football and coaching in Europe. It's a lot of differences. So speaking of the differences, like could you tell us a little bit about how you ended up coaching in Italy? Like what's your path to international football?
Well, I mean, I started coaching high school football about 6, 7 years ago, and I just started getting into like I was looking on Huddle at all these different or kids that were playing high school football from Germany, from other parts of the world, and it just dawned on me like I didn't even know that there was American football going on everywhere else.
Yeah.
So, and I started meeting those kids, and I started getting into it. And I was like, this is something I really want to be a part of, going and coaching overseas. I mean, like, what's better than coaching football year round and being able to travel the world? I mean, I don't think there's anything better, so, and especially I'm coaching 2 seasons a year. I'm coaching the high school season now. And then, I go overseas and coach in the spring. So, I mean, for me, football year round is like heaven on earth. So, I mean, there's nothing better than that.
That's awesome, man. A little bit more about the team in Crotone that you had last season. Kind of describe how the team started and ended. Like, could you tell us a little bit about like the personnel that you had, the players? What kind of players did you have on that team?
Well, like I said, we had a good core of younger like receiver type guys. So we started out kind of in the spread. We didn't have a whole lot of like just bigger dudes that we could just pound people. So we had to spread the field, and I was blessed with a couple of really good young running backs that were interchangeable. And we were actually able to run the ball really well. We ran the ball like for over 100, between 150 200 yards a game. I had a big, strong quarterback in there. I didn't try to run him too much, because the next guy behind him was like 17 years old. So I didn't want to, run him like crazy. But, overall, I think, we did a good job of keeping it simple for our guys, and just trying to, we play with some tempo. And, we were able to really get a lot of good production offensively. And then, defensively, we just didn't have a whole lot of size up front. So we had to really incorporate, many different blitz packages and incorporate, pressures to get into the gaps and create pressure on the quarterback because we just didn't have the D-line personnel. So, we were risking it for the biscuit a few times, without anybody over the top. But like, that's just what we had personnel wise.
Yeah, you have an interesting background with the coaching because you coached at the high school level. Here, a lot of coaches have been like either collegiate or professional coaches in the States for 10 to 20 years before coming to Europe. And
Right.
they find it a little bit different of how to like translate it into the European sport. So what I really want to ask you, and this actually like hits me at home because I feel that the sport here is not to the level of college and professional coaches, but
Right.
what was the level of play like in comparison when it came to coaching? Like, was it similar to when you coached high school players, or was it a little bit different or higher or lower? I guess is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I would compare it very much to a high school team. I was coaching the Bronx, New York, where we had kids from the Dominican Republic, kids from Jamaica, never played football in their lives. And we had a lot of guys in our team in Italy where they might have been playing for a number of years, but as far as their fundamentals and technique went, I mean, it was lacking. So I think it was kind of the very similar in where I was really teaching them from the ground floor up. So I think my experience, in a school in New York City where 75% of the kids never played before, I think that was great for me because, it allowed me to really understand where these guys are coming from because, in a place where, if you're coaching in college or you're coaching at a higher level, and when you go to a team like in Italy, there's a lot of things that you may assume or you may overlook because you just think that they should know it already, where, at the high school level, they don't know it, or even if you might think they don't know it, you still have to go over it and start at that ground floor level and really develop them, fundamentally, as a beginner, So, I think it really helped me a lot, having a background in high school.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it again. I really love that you are a high school coach because I think it translates so much better here. It makes it a lot easier for you because you're working on fundamentals at all times, pretty much.
Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah. So you were in Italy. Everybody loves Italy. Tell us a little bit about like what it was like to live in Italy for a few months. Like, what was the life like? What was Crotone like? I've never heard of that city before.
Yeah, it's a town of about 65,000 people. It's not huge. It's about 2 hours north of Sicily. It was an adjustment at first. You go to the store and everything closes down at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Till 4 o'clock. So you got to make sure you get out and do what you got to do before 1 o'clock, before everybody goes home. So that was definitely an adjustment. But I gotta be honest with you. After a couple of months, it felt like I was back home in the States. It didn't feel like we were in a foreign country because we just became so accustomed to it. The people were very generous to us, very nice to us, and I felt it was a great experience for my wife and I. And other than football, we may never have had an opportunity to see what we saw. So, I'm very appreciative of that organization and what, football has been able to do for me.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned your wife because I'm going to throw this out there. This wasn't even on my mind until now. How was the experience with your wife went with you? Is that right?
Yeah, she was there.
Okay. So that's interesting because there's a lot of guys who decide not to go overseas or they don't want to uproot their families and move somewhere to either coach or play. How was it for you making that decision to say your wife is going to come with you while you're there in a foreign country for a few months?
Well, that was easy. I didn't make the decision. She made the decision that she's going to go. So that's how that went. But I mean, I wouldn't have told her I was going to go there for 6-7 months without her. You know what I mean? That's not fair. So I said, wherever we end up, I'm going to make sure that you're going to go with me as well. So, I wasn't even entertaining any offers where they couldn't accommodate. So it wasn't really anything to think about for me.
Huh. Well, that's awesome. That's just another thing. Glad we got you on here to say that. I mean, you don't have to stop your lives to play or coach American football in Europe. You can travel the world, can become a family experience. It's a lot of guys who have kids or wives and decide not to. But, I mean, Tim Bishop is living proof. You can have it all. Eat your cake and make it. Eat it too.
Oh, just make your cake, eat it too. Yeah, I think that's
something.
All right.
So, you're in New Jersey right now. Is that correct?
Yeah. I'm coaching in Newark, New Jersey, Eastside High School.
Okay.
And a buddy of mine took it over. I got back in June, like literally a week before I left Italy. He's like, I'm taking the Eastside job in Newark, and you interested? And I said, I had nothing else to do at the time, so I was like, absolutely. And what's interesting about this place is that they're a program that hasn't won a football game since 2011, 6 years. So, and they were on a record like 54 game losing streak. So we were really, talk about ground floor, bottom fundamentals. I mean, like that's where it all starts right there. And, we were able to, improve week to week, and we actually did get a win this year, a couple of weeks ago. So it was the first one in 6 years. So it was pretty cool,
That's awesome, man, that you guys are improving as well, and definitely great luck by you to just kind of ease right back into another job.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean that's how it goes for me. Like it's always like a last minute deal. You know what I mean? Like I'm scrambling, and all of a sudden like this great opportunity comes up. So
how did it translate into Reus? I want to say Imperials. It's really hard.
Imperials, yeah.
But how did you end up with that team in Spain? Like, how did that process go about for you?
Well, I had reached out to them in August, and they said that they wanted somebody in October. And, I told them that I was committed to the high school team I was coaching until November, till the end of the season. So, and they're like, well, we're going to try to find a coach that can be here earlier. And I said, I respect that. So I was, talking to a few other teams. And then I guess something happened with their coach. He ended up going elsewhere. He committed to them and then ended up going elsewhere. And so they reached out to me again and they said, because we still don't have anybody, are you still interested? And I said, yeah, I mean, I can be there early November. If that's good for you guys. And they said, that's fine, that they need somebody as soon as possible. So it just ended up working out, and it's a first division team in Spain. It's a great opportunity for me. So, I jumped at it.
Yeah. Reus Imperials is a great organization. They've been on the rise last couple of years. So definitely going to a good spot. So you said sometime in November, is that when you're going to be heading to Spain?
Yeah. I believe November 5th or November 6th.
Okay, that's awesome, man. It's gonna be great to see you in that type of environment. I know you were with one of the lower level teams in Italy, so now you're going to like the top league in Spain. The comparison should be different, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll talk again to find out exactly what it is from you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think I've been watching them on film. It's a bit of a higher level football. I think that the players overall, the domestic players in Spain on that team have a little more talent than what I was working with in Italy. But but there's still a lot of, fundamental error, I'm not going to say errors, but just a lot of fundamentals that need to be worked with, with this team in Spain, just based on the film, and so I'm ready and excited to get to work and watch guys improve. And, my mantra is just find something, focus on something to get better with every single day. If you can, if there's something that that you're lacking in your game and you can get better with it every day in practice, then the whole team's gonna be better. So that's my whole philosophy.
Let's talk about your personal coaching style, because that's what you're going to be bringing to Reus this season. What could you describe it to us a little bit? Like, how do you go about coaching your team, and what's your personal style or philosophy when it comes to coaching?
Okay. Well, I mean, my style is, it's not something that I think about. It's, I'm a North Jersey, New York guy, and we're very just confrontational. We demand a lot, and I compare, I don't like to compare myself to anybody, but if I had to say one guy, it would be like a Bill Parcells type guy, just a North Jersey, just a rough language kind of guy. And listen, I demand guys focus on getting better every practice, every rep. Like it's we only get three times a week to practice, so we got to make sure that we're efficient and we're giving everything we got every single time we're out there on the practice field. So my philosophy is focus on the football things. Just don't focus on anything else. Don't focus on your relationship with the coaches, relationship with the players, just focus on the football things first, because when you take care of the football things, relationships will develop and that stuff will take care of itself. So, focus on the little things, details, getting that stuff down, that stuff that's going to help us win games, and we're going to be all right.
Yeah, definitely sounds like a recipe for winning. That's for sure. So talking about the next thing I wanted to get about, okay, we do want you guys to be successful over there in Spain. So what is a few things that you said you've already watched film on the team, you kind of understand what needs to be focused on. What are a few of the keys that'll be needed for you guys to be successful this season? I mean, last season they went to the championship, so the bar is set pretty high.
Yeah. I think defensively, I think they really need to shore up their tackling, shore up their gap responsibility, run defense. And, because I watched a few games where, they allow, teams to move the ball up and down the field. So we got to make sure we're shoring that up. When I evaluate the domestic personnel, offense and defense, I want to make sure that guys are in the right position to be the most successful. I don't want anybody out of position. And based on, that evaluation, that will determine who we bring in as far as imports to really fill in the gaps where it's really needed. I'm not going to bring in, if I feel like we have a core of great receivers, I'm not going to bring in another receiver. If I feel like we're lacking on the offensive line, I'll bring in an offensive line guy. So, whatever I determine our needs are, that's who we're going to bring in to make us better. So, it's all about, what are our needs and who can fill those needs and like, if we bring in a running back that's a slasher, he can get outside, we're going to add things to our scheme that really gives him an opportunity to be successful out there, so yeah, I'm just really excited and ready to, make improvements and watch guys really buy into what we're doing and be successful.
Okay, last question, Coach. Like I said, last year you went to Italy. This year you're going to Spain. What are your goals? Like, is there a master plan for Tim Bishop to become the best coach in Europe of all time? Or are you planning to travel and see as much of the world? What's your plan for the future? Just a little.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think in terms of like, what's my end game legacy going to be? I'm just in the now. I'm just worried about the team that I'm coaching right now. How can I make them the best team that they could possibly be? I'm just living for the now, and for the future, I would say, I love using football to see as much of the world as I can. If they're gonna pay me to do it, I mean, like, why not? Where everybody else in the world's got to pay to go see the world. And I'm doing what I love to do, and I get to see places I never even thought I would see. So I mean, for the future, I'm just living for today. That's all I can say.
All right, that's Coach Tim Bishop, new head coach of the Reus Imperials in Spain for next season. We appreciate you being on the podium today, man. Good luck to you guys this season, and good luck to your high school team for the rest of that season.
I appreciate it, Vincent. Thank you.
All right.
All right, take care.